Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special episode of Wrestling Prime. I am your host, Tom Dog, the Boat of Broadcasting. Welcome to this very special episode of Wrestling Prime. We're going to be doing two nights of honoring the late great Sabu. Passed away. Passed away this past weekend. This past week. Earlier this week, I should say. Um, he um, sorry about that. I think he was 60, I believe. Yeah, and so we're gonna be um tonight and tomorrow. We're taking a break from the usual wrestling prime episodes that we're gonna be that we normally would be talking about, and we're gonna be devoted for two nights of honoring Sabu. Um, Tonight we're gonna be looking at his career in the WWE, ECW, and a little bit of World Championship Wrestling. And tomorrow night, of course, on Wrestling Prime Elite, we're gonna talk about his later career after that as well too. So, which includes an appearance at in AEW. So, um, so yeah, this is going to be a really good tribute. We do tributes like this often. Um, but now since I have two shows, um, we could split that down into two shows. So yeah. Um, so it's a very big tribute, and he's one of the greats in in wrestling. I basically seen him wrestle for Extreme Championship Wrestling, and we're going to talk about that. And so yeah, we're going to do that. I'm not going to do the excuse me. I'm not going to do the the shout outs and the plugs and everything like that. We're going to keep that low key, and we're going to be we're just going to get into the chats and everything like that. If you have any stories you would like to share with about Sabu, like if you have any Sabu stories, um, either here live on chat um, or in the comment section later on if you missed the live taping. So yeah. Um, so yeah, this is going to be two nights of honoring Sabu, one of the greats, and he was one of my favorites uh, in ECW. So we're going to be talking about his career in Extreme Championship Wrestling and so forth. So yeah. Um, in his early career, he was trained by his uncle, the original Sheik, um, Edward Farhat, and he was initially trained to be a technical wrestler. And I'm getting all the. By the way, I'm getting all um, this biography about him in the Wikipedia. So I always go to that when I'm doing obituaries and everything like that, and break it down to make it good. And so yeah, he was. So anyways, Sabu was originally trained. Was originally uh, trained by his uncle, the original Sheik, Edward Farhat, and he was trained to be a technical wrestler. He began his his wrestling career in 1985 for his uncle's promotion, and which was known at the time Big Time Wrestling. He was billed as being from Saudi Arabia under the ring name Sabu, the Elephant Boy, um, which was later dropped, and Terry SR. Um, the SR stood for Sheik's Revenge, and Terry being and of course Terry being um, his real life name. Um, he was known. He was um, his real name was Terrence Michael Brunk. He was born in 1964, and um, during the 80s, 1980s, um, Sabu wrestled for various independent promotions in Memphis, Michigan, Ohio, Canada, and Hawaii. Um, he started his career. Um, his first appearance was for a wrestling promotion called United States Wrestling Association. Um, he feuded there. He feuded with Jeff Jarrett and Robert Fuller. Um, my head's just yeah. I'm sorry. Hold on. My apologies, folks. um, Nobody asked to move to wrestle 2025 or people from 90. Okay. Sure what that means, but okay. Um, so in 1993, not many people know this, but in 1993 he had a short appearance. He had a small appearance in the WWE. Um, Back then it was known as the World Wrestling Federation. Um, he wrestled in a few dark matches. He defeated Scott Taylor in a dark match. Um, before Monday Night Raw on October 18th, 1993. He lost to Owen Hart the next night for a dark match at a Wrestling Challenge taping on the October 20, and then on October 20th he defeated Scott Taylor again in a dark match at a Superstars of Wrestling taping. Um, Sabu would later go into frontal martial arts wrestling from 1991 to 1994. Or yeah, um, it was his tour of Japan, and he would receive many, and he would receive many scars on his arms and torso, um, which he became famous for. Um, um, a little fun fact about those. there was a rumor going around that whether or not he would heal those scars with he would use super glue to close the wounds. So I'm not sure if that was real or not, but he did clear rumors that the scars because there were rumors saying that the scars were self-induced. Um, and he cleared those rumors during a shoot interview with RF Video. And he was basically in barbed wire death matches. And in May of '92, he would team with his uncle, the original Sheik, in a Ring of Fire death match against um, Asushi Oneida and Tarzan Goto. So I apologize if I pronounced those names wrong. Um, Match was set in a ring where the ropes were placed with barbed wire and the sheets soaked in where the ropes were replaced with barbed wire with sheets soaked in gas wrapped around it. As the match started, the ring crew lit the sheets on fire using torches. They were in the ring for about a minute before all men uh, got out of the ring due to intense heat. Sabu even competed in Japanese hardcore matches where he teamed um, with with the Sheik, um, the original Sheik, um, Tiger Tiger Jeet Singh, and Horace Boulder. Sabu feuded with the likes of Tarzan Goto and um, Oneida in FMW. His final match in FMW was a loss to the debuting Hayabusa in the 1994 Summer Spectacular. Um, in 1993, Sabu would debut for a newer company, which was called back then Eastern Championship Wrestling, which would later turn into Extreme Championship Wrestling. Um, he was booked as a heel at the NWA Bloodfest by defeating the Tasmaniac, most commonly known today as Taz. And one of the things that made Sabu stand out was the fact that he never talked. He never talked during his time at ECW. It was a gimmick that he inherited from his uncle, who never spoke English in public due to protect kayfabe. So yeah, a little fun fact about that. Um, Originally, Sabu, during his time with ECW, in Eastern Championship Wrestling, he was billed as being from Saudi Arabia or Bombay or in India. In real life, he was a second generation Lebanese American from the suburb of Detroit. In ECW, he was clearly he was clearly hard of speaking in the ring on several occasions, and it was fairly common knowledge that was an American citizen from birth. This led to a joke at kayfabe's expense when Sabu began to be billed as hailing from Bombay, Michigan. He was hyped as being homicidal, genocidal, and death-defying. He would also wear a turban to the ring entrance as his ring entrance attire, as tribute to his as paying homage to his uncle, who also wore a turban, and he was even considered to be the one that would carry the Sheik's legacy. Um, Um, he also cleared up rumors in a documentary film, Forever Hardcore, that Paul Heyman was not the one that brought him into ECW, but it was at the right place at the right time. He was referred to by a friend to Todd Gordon, who was also co-promoter of ECW with uh, Paul Heyman. Back then, he was known as Paul E. Dangerously. Um, According to the storyline, Sabu, who was at the time often arrived by the ring by his handler 911, uh, he was an uncontrollable madman strapped to a gurney with a Hannibal Lecter style face mask while trying to break free. He claimed to hate this part of the gimmick, as as he was normally tried before as he started his match. Guess wait, let me read that again. Um, he claimed he hated this part of the gimmick as he was normally tried before he started his match. Okay, I guess it didn't fit his gimmick. Um, Sabu could only be released from his bonds to wrestle his matches. Sabu also quickly became synonymous with table breaking at this time. If a table was not broken during the match, Sabu would break a table with his own body after the bell had sounded, sometimes leading to 911 having to restrain Sabu during backstage interviews if a table was present. So, um, he would quickly rise to main event status upon his debut. In his second match with the promotion, he defeated Shane Douglas for the ECW Heavyweight Championship. Sabu made his first successful title defense against the Tasmaniac, or Taz, um, on the November 30th episode of Hardcore TV. Um, Sabu would then headline the inaugural November to Remember event on November 13th by teaming with World Warrior Hawk in a title versus title Dream Partner tag team against Terry Funk and King Kong Bundy. Um, um, with Sabu's heavyweight championship and Terry Funk's ECW television championship, both on the line. Um, Sabu would pin Funk to win the television championship after Bundy turned on Funk. As a result, Sabu became a double champion. And um, the rivalry between Sabu and Funk intensified as Sabu lost the heavyweight championship to Funk at Holiday Hell. Um, Sabu would receive a rematch for the heavyweight championship against Funk in a three-way dance at the night the line was crossed on February 5th, 1994, which also involves Shane Douglas. And the match ended in a 60-minute time limit draw, which meant that Funk retained the title. Sabu would then continue to retain the television championship against the likes of Pat Tanaka, Mike Awesome, before losing the title to Taz. which aired on March 15th, which aired on the March 15th episode of Hardcore TV. After the title loss, Sabu continued his feud with Funk, defeating him on the April 19th episode of Hardcore TV. At when And then at Worlds Collide, Sabu teamed with Bobby Eaton to defeat Funk and Anderson and defeat Terry Funk and Arn Anderson to conclude the rivalry. Shortly after that, Sabu turned into a fan favorite by teaming with Taz to defeat the Pitbulls. Sabu would also challenge Shane Douglas for the heavyweight championship, but failed to win after losing to a count out. Sabu and Taz would begin feuding with the Triple Threat, which was the team of Shane Douglas, Chris Benoit, and Dean Malenko. Which would later on lead to Sabu facing Benoit in a main event of November to Remember, headlining ECW's premiere event for the second consecutive year. The match prematurely ended when Benoit gave Sabu a back body drop, and expecting his opponent to land face first, Sabu rotated himself in midair to attempt to land on his back. This would injure Sabu's spinal cord, resulting in nerve damage. And they showed this clip. They showed the clip many times. In documentaries. Most notably in the WWE's DVD, The Rise and Fall of ECW. 2 weeks later, Sabu returned and continued to wrestle. Triple Threat in various matches, which saw Sabu and Taz defeat Dean and Joe Malenko on the November 22nd episode of Hardcore TV. In 1995, Sabu and Taz would begin feuding with the Public Enemy over the ECW Tag Championships, failing to win the titles on January 3rd and January 31st episodes of Hardcore TV. Sabu and Taz would finally defeat Public Enemy in a double tables match at the double tables to win the World Tag Championships on February 4th. However, Sabu and Taz would lose the titles to Benoit and Malenko. And 3 weeks later, at Return of the Funker, Sabu would soon wrestle his last match of his first tenure in ECW on the March 28th episode of Hardcore TV by defeating Mikey Whipwreck. The following month, in April, after being scheduled to compete in the main event of, and this was one of the controversies that was also explained in the Rise and Fall of ECW DVD. The following month, in April, after being scheduled to compete in the main event of the three-way dance for the World Tag Championship, Sabu no-showed the event to accept a booking for New Japan Pro Wrestling. This led Paul Heyman, which led Paul Heyman to publicly and legitimately fire Sabu at the event. In the Forever Hardcore documentary, he stated that he had a career wrestling in Japan and now only wrestled once every so often for ECW. Thus he chose Japan over ECW. So during his in 1995, in early of 1995, during his time with New Japan, he feuded with he would team up with Masahiro Chono to defeat Juni Hirata and Tatsumi Fujinami. Sabu and Chono teamed together on several more occasions to face Hisai Ishingun. Again, I apologize. I do apologize for the pronunciation of these gentlemen's names. May 3rd, 1995, Sabu defeated Koji Kanemoto at Wrestling Dontaku at the Fujikawa Dome. Fukuoka and the Fukuoka Dome to win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. He lost the title to Kanemoto on June 14th at the Tokyo's Nippon Budokan, in a bout where Kanemoto's UWA World Welterweight Championship was also on the line. He went on to face Gran Hamada in a series of matches, culminating in Sabu defeating Gran Hamada to win the UWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship. Sabu's final appearance with New Japan was on December 11, 1995, in Osaka, teaming with Hiro Saito to defeat Dean Malenko and Wild Pegasus. Also in 1995, Sabu would make his WC World Championship Wrestling debut on the September 11th, 1990, and on the September 11th episode of WCW Monday Nitro against Alex Wright. Sabu would go on to win the match, but the decision was reversed after the match. He put after the match he put right through a table. Sabu would later on would also have two victories against Mr. JL. One on the October on the October 9th episode of Nitro, and at Halloween Havoc on October 29th. Following the match at Halloween Havoc, Sabu's uncle, the original Sheik, hit JL with his trademark Fireball. His last match in World Championship Wrestling was against Disco Inferno on October 30th, 1995, on an episode of Raw, in which Sabu won. Sabu would go back to Japan later on, and He made his debut on in November 1996, teaming with Gary Albright. In 1997, he would team up with Rob Van Dam. Um, and a very interesting note here, in the summer of 1996, Sabu had planned on signing with the WWF, um, and he was the original choice for the Sultan gimmick, but rejected the offer when he learned that he was going to be managed by the Iron Sheik instead of his original, instead of his uncle, um, which later on the gimmick would be given to Fatu, and he would originally be known as Rikishi. Um, oh, excuse me. Um, yeah, a lot to talk about here. Sabu returned to ECW at November to Remember, defeating Hack Myers in his first match in the promotion in 8 months. Um, he would also have matches with Cactus Jack, Stevie Richards, and Mr. Hughes. Um, he would also get a World Television Championship opportunity against Too Cold Scorpio. Um, yeah, but they would always end in 20-minute time limit draws. Um, he had a lengthy feud with Rob Van Dam after defeating him in a no time limit match at Hostile City Showdown. Um, um, at one point, Van Dam would insult Sabu by refusing to shake his hands after the match. As a result, a respect match took place between the two at a matter of respect. Sabu lost the match and thus forced to shake hands with Van Dam. But Van Dam refused by saying, "Not only do I not respect you, but you're a piece of shit." And this continued their rivalry. Um, as Sabu defeated Van Dam in a standard match at Hardcore Heaven, a stretcher match at The Doctor Is In, and a grudge match at Unlikely Lottery. After which Sabu finally earned Van Dam's respect. Van Dam was about to shake Sabu's hand, but the Can-Am Express attacked the two, leading to Van Dam and Sabu facing the Can-Am Express at When Worlds Collide. A match that would end in a 30-minute time limit draw. However, Van Dam and Sabu defeated the Can-Am Express in a rematch at High Incident. Um, this would end their rivalry after Sabu and Van Dam would be tag teaming together. Um, they became they quickly started going after the tag team championships, facing the Eliminators in a number one contenders match at November to Remember. Um, the match would end in a time limit draw, and both teams faced the reigning champions, the Gangsters, in an immediate three-way elimination match, which Gangsters won. Van Dam and Sabu continued their feud with the Eliminators over the titles in 1997 after the Eliminators won the tag titles. They failed to win the titles from the Eliminators in a standard tag team match at Crossing the Line and at a Tables and Ladders match at CyberSlam. Um, um, Taz would later on be back into the feuding picture um, by challenging Sabu at every given opportunity, but got no response. After a year of call-outs and insult from Taz, Paul Heyman revealed that he had asked Sabu as a friend to ignore Taz's challenge. This stand-up culminated in a grudge match at ECW's first ever pay-per-view, Barely Legal, which Taz won. Following the match, Taz's manager Bill Alfonso turned on him and sided with Sabu and Van Dam. This resulted in a double turn as Taz became a fan favorite while Sabu turned heel. Sabu and Taz continued to feud on and off for the remainder of Taz's ECW career. Sabu would continue his rivalry with Taz by defeating him in a rematch at WrestlePalooza, and not the WrestlePalooza I know, so different one. Shortly after, he would feud against Terry Funk in a no-rope barbed wire match for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, which was too extreme for even for ECW. That was the that was the tagline. And one of the most memorable moments in ECW history, Sabu attempted the Air Sabu corner splash on Funk. Terry moved and Sabu ended up colliding violently into the wire, which tore open his biceps. He then asked his manager, Bill Alfonso, for some tape. After Alfonso went to get some, Sabu began to tape the approximately 10-inch gash. Funk once said that he had never seen anything like that, and the match ended with both men so badly tangled up together in the barbed wire that it took several ring technicians armed with wire cutters to free them from the predicament, which was on the DVD Bloodsport, ECW's most violent matches released by WWE. Heyman even once said that it was so gruesome that he never dared to schedule another one like it, and that they never had another barbed wire match in ECW because no one could top that one. Good call. And he also said that he never wanted anyone to try that too. Sabu would go on to excuse me. Sabu would go on to win the match winning the title for the second time. However, 8 days later, Sabu lost the title to Shane Douglas in a three-way elimination match, also involving Funk at Hardcore Heaven. Sabu would receive a rematch against Douglas for the title at the Homecoming, but lost. There was once during the time of during the run of WCW or ECW, there was once a crossover promotion between ECW and WWE, which was an invasion angle which ECW wrestlers invaded WWS Monday Night Raw program and held ECW style matches and angles on the show. One memorable moment occurred on the show when Sabu appeared during a match and prepared an aerial move off the R. On the original Raw set, on the original Monday Night Raw set, there were these letters RAW for Raw. Sabu accidentally fell off the R, and he landed onto Team Taz. And it became an inside joke between him and Taz backstage. This was incorporated in ECW as Sabu, Van Dam, and Alfonso began promoting the virtues of the WWF product over ECW's. Sabu and Van Dam feuded with ECW loyalists Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman during this period and were joined by Jerry Lawler from WWF. And in the summer of 1990, and then I'm going to fast forward because there's too much here, too much to go on, and everything. There were some tag matches. He would also be Sabu and Van Dam would be feuding with Candido and Chris Candido and Lance Storm, which gave them their tag titles. They would also fight the tag teams of Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney. They would also feud with the Dudley Boys, and they also defeated the Japanese team of Hayabusa and Jinsei Shinzaki. And so yeah, a lot of good, interesting stuff here. This is the one I want to talk about. Sabu, on the December 23rd episode of Hardcore TV, Sabu defeated Taz and Just Incredible in a three-way elimination match to win the FTW Heavyweight Championship. At the time, the FTW belt was Taz's creation, and the origin of that belt, the FTW, stood for "Fuck the World." Sabu would later feud with Taz in early 1999. And Sabu would also would receive a broken jaw and a broken neck during a match against Taz in December 1998. The injury occurred when Sabu took took a Tazplex through a table and landed incorrectly. Sabu avenged that by interfering in Taz's match against Shane Douglas for the World Heavyweight Championship at Guilty as Charged. Sabu would attack both men and then leave right after. Um, Trying to see. So yeah. Um, in the summer of 1999, Sabu began a feud with Just Incredible, wrestling him in numerous matches at live events for various months. The rivalry led to a match between the two at Anarchy Rules in September, which Credible won. Sabu would then challenge his tag team partner Rob Van Dam for the World Television Championship on the November 19th episode of Hardcore TV and the November 26th episode of ECW on TNN, but failed to win both times. Sabu would continue his rivalry with Van Dam as he pursued the World Television Championship, unsuccessfully challenging Van Dam for the World Television Championship at Guilty as Charged on January 9th, 2000. This would be Sabu's final pay-per-view appearance in ECW. On the January 30th episode of Hardcore TV, Sabu wrestles his last televised match in ECW, which he defeated C.W. Anderson. Sabu's last match in ECW took place on February 26th, which he defeated Scott D'Amore. After that, Sabu left ECW. He would also have some appearances at TNA. He would face he worked with Jerry Manos DeWitt in a ladder match. He also went up against Ken Shamrock. In 2004, he would team up with Raven to defeat Raven's former Gathering proteges, CM Punk and Julio De Niro. And in March, he began feuding with Monty Brown and Abyss, who outnumbered him several occasions, after Raven failed to watch his back. Eventually, Raven challenged Sabu to an empty arena match to be held on June 9th, but Sabu refused to wrestle him, claiming that he had promised his uncle, the original Sheik, that he would never fight Raven. Raven would then wage a campaign against Sabu, disrespecting the memory of his uncle and insulting Sabu's friend Sanjay Dutt. After Sabu finally broke and attacked him on July 23rd, Raven defeated Sabu on August 4th, and a scheduled return match on August 18th was canceled after Sabu legitimately suffered a serious back injury. Um, during this time, um, when um, when the WWE had a revival, um, had a One Night Stand pay per view. Um, he defeated Rhino in that match. Um, Sabu would come back to the WWE in 2006. Signed a 1 year contract with the company, and Sabu faced Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship. But the match ended in a no contest after Sabu caught Mysterio in a front face lock and hit him with a DDT, which caused both men to crash through the table. Medical staff rushed to the injured and declared none of them could continue. Thus, Mysterio retained his title. Um, Sabu would also have won a 10-man Extreme Battle Royal to earn a match against John Cena at Vengeance. This happened on June 13th. And not bad. He would later on at a Survivor Series event, Sabu would team up with John Cena, and he would team up with Cena, Bobby Lashley, Rob Van Dam, and Kane to face the team of Big Show, Test, Montel, Vontavious MVP, and Finlay and Umaga. Sabu eliminated Test following a tornado DDT, but he was later eliminated by the Big Show via pinfall after receiving a choke slam. Sabu would join the ECW and the revival of with he would Sabu would be on the revival of ECW, and he joined with the ECW originals, which consists of himself, Ron Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, and the Sandman. The ECW originals began a feud with the New Breed, which was the team of Eliza Burke, Kevin Thorne, Marcus Corvan, and Matt Striker. Thus becoming a match at WrestleMania 23 in which the originals won. And later on, on the May, Sabu's final WWE match was on the May 1st episode of ECW, where he competed in a fatal four-way match against Straber, Van Dam, and Sandman to determine the number one contender for the ECW World Championship, which Van Dam won. Shortly after that, Sabu was released from the WWE. So yeah, a lot of crazy stuff there, and a lot to soak in. But yeah, this was so yeah, that was a lot of stuff that he did during that time, and and I'm looking at the time, and yeah, I was dragging with this, and yeah, but yeah, we're going to be continuing this episode tomorrow on Wrestling Prime Elite, where we talk about his time with All Elite Wrestling. So yeah, and plus also we'll talk about his as well as talk about his final wrestling match. So yeah, a lot of good, interesting stuff there. And so yeah, I'm looking at the time, and we're going to be calling this a night. But yeah, thank you very much. And if you have any stories that you would like to share, if anybody would like to share them off and everything, um, either put them in the comments here in the chat, or in the comment section down below, or after the show's over, of course, if you missed it. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow me at Blue Sky at TomDog247. If you missed any of tonight's episode, you can check it out as soon as I turn off the camera. Give this video a like if you a thumbs up if you like it. Comment down below, like I said, on your fondest moments of Sabu in during his time with the WWE and ECW. Let us know in the comment section down below. And and ring the bell to stay notified of what I'm going to be doing next. And hit that subscribe button um, to support small streamers like myself. Thank you all so much again for tuning in, and we will see you here tomorrow for Wrestling Prime Elite, where we continue our our uh, our tribute to one of the greatest crazy wrestlers to ever step foot in that ring, and that is Sabu. So yeah, we're going to be paying our tributes to him, and continue it on, and have a good story with that as well too. Um, so yeah, with that being said, see you all tomorrow night. Till then, this is Tom Dog saying, take care, so long, peace. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow night. Hit the room screen. There we go. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow night.